Good afternoon. This is Lindsay. It is Sunday. Sunday, June 15th, 2025, and I guess it's Father's Day, and yeah, wow, great. I mean, another day to celebrate for people who have a father. Obviously, I get it. But it's just another one of these like Hallmark card days, right? An excuse to celebrate something. I don't really like Father's Day. I don't like Mother's Day. I don't really like Valentine's Day. I don't really celebrate any of it, with the exception of Christmas, and that's about the only Halloween because of the paranormal and things like that. But as far as like these days, like Father's Day and all that shit. It's just I'm sorry, but listen to my negativity. I just feel like it's meant to trigger in a way. It feels like, yeah, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for the father who I think I had, or who was supposedly my father growing up, right? The one who I was told was my biological father, which I don't think he is, but then again, I don't know. So, all I do, I'm sorry, but it's like, it just triggers. It's like I'm on there at the gym thinking about like, okay, it's Father's Day. Who's my father? Hey, I wonder if maybe I'm going to get lucky today and my mother, if she's even my real mother, since I don't even know that, if that's true, is she going to finally like one day say, Lindsay, I think it's come time that I'm going to go ahead and tell you the truth about who you are and who your father is. And I prayed, and I pray that day happens. I've been praying for years, meditating about it, thinking about it, contemplating, having dreams about it, crying about it, getting upset, getting triggered, getting emotional about it over the years, over my entire life, because I've always known, when there's something wrong, that you're being lied to. People know these things. It's not... How can somebody not know anyway. I think that a person knows whenever there's something that they're not being told by their family or whatever. You always can figure it out. You always see all the little clues and things that they present to you throughout your life, and then it's like it's blatant in your face sometimes that you're being lied to, but they'll still deny it. They'll still gaslight you and deny it, such as in my case. Like, really? You still are going to deny me the truth? Why? Whenever, that kind of shit gets me really mad. I don't like there's nothing I hate more than fucking being lied to or being told half little truths, especially when it comes to things like that, wanting who your biological family is or father. That's fucked up, and shame on you parents out there who have done that to your kids. I don't care if you adopted them or whatever. Everybody has a right to know who they are, and I know there's a lot of adults out there who were adopted and they don't want to know. Some people just choose to not. They don't want to know for whatever reason. They were raised by a decent enough family who adopted them, even though I think adoption is fucked up too. I think that it's just all screwed up in my opinion. I think that if you're that fucking irresponsible to have a kid that you don't want, what were you thinking? And that is your responsibility. I know there's women who were raped. I know there's certain circumstances where, but other than that, people just having kids to just have them, and then, I'm going to give the child up for adoption because I don't want to have to be responsible. It's a big responsibility. That's why people should really think twice before bringing a life into this world. Okay, it's not just something that you should do because everybody does it and you're supposed to do that. No, you're not. No, it's not. It's not just like buying a fucking dog or a cat. It's a child. It's a living. It's something that you have to take care of the rest of your life. And so therefore, you know what? Call me selfish, call me self-absorbed, call me a bitch, whatever, but I am thankful that I do not have kids, and I don't want any, and I never did. I never, ever, ever once had the desire as a child or as a young lady or growing up to have a child. Just wasn't in me. Never had the desire, oh, I want to be a mother one day and have a bunch of children and have the white picket fence and the perfect marriage. No, never fucking appealed to me, ever, and it still doesn't. It's just not my thing. Not my thing. I'm not a mother. I would not be a good mother. And I know that I just don't want kids. I can handle a cat, maybe a dog or a bird, but kids were never I would be a horrible mother. I'd be way too protective, and I just don't. It's weird though, because for whatever reason, even though I don't know why I've always had the problem where certain children gravitate towards me, it seems like they do for whatever reason, and I'm not, and that's always been something I've noticed throughout my life, is that children or young people tend to kind of look at me and gravitate towards me in certain areas or situations, and that's always made me feel awkward as well, because it's not that I can't get along with children, I just don't. I can get along better with younger adults and younger teenagers and but little children and babies, and no, I can't. It's not my arena of expertise. Let me just put it that way. I'm not a mother. I'm not wanting to, anyway, back to the father. I'll shut up. I'm going on a rant here, but back to the full Father's Day thing. So yeah, it's just meant to kind of trigger people, I think, who don't have a father or who don't know who their father is, or people who were born from adultery or from wedlock, or who were adopted and never found their biological parents, or whatever the situation. It's just kind of like, oh, great. Here's another day where I get to feel, and I'm not feeling sorry for myself. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's another way for me to have to be reminded of, I don't know who the fuck, excuse my language, who I am. And that is a big deal to me. It is a huge fucking deal to me to not know the truth. And I have begged that mother of mine. It's like, why don't you just fucking come out and tell me the truth? Now that I'm as the age that I am, now that you're the age that you are, what are you trying to hide, or who are you trying to protect? If you're trying to protect me, you're doing a fucking shitty job, because that's a bullshit excuse. That's some of these parents who have kids out of wedlock or adultery, they say that the reason they don't tell the child about who they are or who their father is because they want to protect that child. Or they did it because, oh, bullshit, that's an excuse. I don't give a shit. Don't tell me that you're doing it to protect me. The reason they don't want you to know is because they're trying to protect themselves and their own fucking ego and their own goddamn reputation, or they don't want to be ashamed. They already feel ashamed enough as it is when they have a fucking kid out of wedlock or adultery. You know that they carry a bunch of guilt and shame with that. So I don't go around kissing your... if you hate me that much and you've treated me like so, then what the fuck? I mean, it's sorry, but not my fault. I don't blame myself. I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to be put into a fucking situation like that where everything's a fight, everything's a struggle, everything's a competition, I'm being scrutinized and judged, especially by radical, real religious type people. And I'm not saying religion is bad. I'm not trying to go against people who are of a strong faith in whatever religion you have. But some people I've noticed who are really adamant churchgoers and very much into the whole hey, the Bible's a good thing, but some of that shit, no, I don't agree with it. And I don't think that people should have to feel shamed for who they are or the way they were brought up or the way they were conceived. I don't think it's fair, because it's not the fault of the child or the adult child. It is not your fault. So if you were born from wedlock, born from adultery, born from some kind of something, you know what? It is not your fault, and don't hate yourself for that. Don't punish yourself, because society expects you to be a little subservient slave if you're somebody who's undesired, right? You're not good enough, you're not desired, you don't fit in properly to the mold of what they want you to be. No, just be happy for who you are and don't be ashamed of who you are is my advice. I mean, we all have... Nobody's perfect, and nobody has the right to go around telling somebody that you don't have the right to be in a certain place or you don't have the right to live your life simply because of the situation or the circumstances of which you were conceived or born. The people who do that kind of shaming are really low life people. If you're going to go around, I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, I don't believe in, it's a sin or whatever to have a kid out of adultery or, but nowadays, okay, maybe back in the day it was much more taboo, obviously. It is, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want to, if I were married, which marriage seems to be a joke nowadays anyway, I wouldn't want to be married, but it's like, I just know that if I were personally married to a man and I was wanting to have a family, I would never, it just goes against my morals and my values to ever cheat on that person, have an affair, an extramarital affair, let alone have a child out of that affair. I mean, I would feel really fucking bad about I myself, I'm saying, speaking hypothetically, I would feel really bad. I would feel really guilty and ashamed of myself if I were in that situation. I personally would feel really ashamed, but I would get over it. But if I had a child out of adultery or out of wedlock or something like that, and I was, out of adultery is the worst fucking thing, I think. Having an affair with somebody and having a child when you're married to somebody and then having an affair and having a child with that person, that's pretty fucked up. That shows that you don't respect the marriage. That shows that you, in my opinion, you don't take that seriously. You don't take that covenant seriously. And why? It's God. That's something of God. If you're married, or if you're married to somebody, you should stay. If you're unhappily married, then I would say get a divorce or separate or work things out. But don't even think about, if you're married to somebody, don't cheat on that person. Don't have an affair. That's messed up. You see how many lives it destroys? How many people get unemployed, go into poverty, have a fucked up life on account of their spouse cheating on them? You can't get away with that without getting caught. You will get caught. If you're somebody who's a adulterer doing that kind of thing, or you'll get, and your wife and you don't have that kind of agreement where it's like an open marriage or whatever the fuck, that's that fucked up shit, which I think is just stupid. All that triangulation crap and bringing a third party because you're bored and you want excitement, then don't get married. If you know that that's how you are and you know that you cannot be committed to somebody, then don't get married and don't have an affair and expect that it's going to be okay. If you didn't agree, if you're, that's not right. That you should have morals and values. Common sense should tell you that it's wrong to do that to a person. That's a hurtful thing to do to somebody. It's shows a lot of disrespect. And a person who does that, don't ever go back to somebody, in my opinion, if they cheated on you when they were married to you and you had an agreement that you were going to be committed to each other, and they cheated on you and did that, actually fornicated with somebody outside of the marriage, no. Do not trust that person. And I would say, don't go back to them. I don't care what their excuse was. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse. If you're going to do that, then get a fucking divorce and then have your affair or whatever it is. But don't do that while you are still legally, because it is just a fucking contract, married to somebody. Because you get the kids involved, you get the community involved, your work, everybody. You become the gossiping, the object of mockery and gossip in the community, because it's very much frowned upon in every single culture. It's just not. It shows you need to have respect for yourself and respect for other people. I don't care if you don't like your spouse. Then just divorce a person before you think about doing that to that person, because that's just fucked up, in my opinion. That there's no excuse. And ladies out there, if that happened to you, or men, no, don't go back. Don't go back to fix the fucking marriage. I know that a lot of you think that, well, I'm Catholic and, it's against the church or against my religion to get a divorce. Really? And you're going to stay with somebody who fucking cheated on you and lied to you and deceived you and did that, and you're going to go back to them even though you were quote-unquote married by the church under God, the covenant of God, as something sacred? I wouldn't do it. I would not do it, and I would not recommend that anybody do that. I would recommend that you get out of that relationship and don't go back to somebody who did that to you. Don't even, you can stay cordial if you have children with them. You kind of have to, obviously, if you have young kids. But don't expect to go back to somebody and things are going to get better if they did that to you, because that is the most, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, because it did happen to me a long time when I was married to this fucking green card marriage, but still, it's very, very betrayed. Talk about betrayal. Talk about feeling fucking betrayed and used and just stupid whenever that happens. You being fucking cheated on like that when you're married to somebody. It's a bad feeling. It's a very bad feeling. And you feel low, you feel useless, you feel like you start punishing yourself for something that they did and it's not your fault. So, and you heal over time by working on yourself and by doing things, but don't blame yourself if your significant other, spouse, or whatever did that to you. That's their fault. That's something that they need to deal with. That's some kind of trauma from childhood that they never dealt with, that they need to go and do some introspection and figure out why they did that. And do they have an addiction to sex? Do they have an addiction to porno? Do they not know how to commit to one person or what? Because there's something going on there that they have to deal with and fix. But still, it's over. Move on. Don't. Once it's over and divorced, don't go back to your spouse. Don't go back to somebody who fucking cheated on you if you're in a serious relationship. I just don't think that. I don't care how much fucking therapy you've had, counseling or couples therapy. They don't change. These people are usually very narcissistic. They're usually very self-serving. They don't care about how they affect other people. They don't think about consequences of their actions. And most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, it's going to happen again. You go back to a cheater, they're going to do it again and again and again and again, because you keep you're enabling the behavior without even realizing it. You're the enabler. They feel like, I got away with it, and the person forgave me, and I'm just gonna, that means they'll let me do anything, and I can get away with it. And really, I don't know how. You just can't ever trust somebody again once that's happened. The trust is fucking gone out the window forever. It's never going to be the same. You're never going to see that person the same again. You're never going to trust them. You're always going to be wondering, what are they doing? And do you want to live a life having to constantly worry about what they're doing, or just be free and not commit and be... that's why I don't think that marriage is a good idea for most people. It really isn't. Most marriages fail. Most people do not remain committed to the person they're with. And what's the point of being married unless you're planning on starting a family? Other than that, or I get it for easy because it's for financial reasons or it's cheap. Yeah, but you want to live your life being miserable under somebody else's fucking umbrella, just because they're helping? No, it's a form of slavery. It's basically indentured servitude. Either way you look at it, So I prefer my autonomy. Quite honestly, I'm not going to settle down and marry somebody who I know is a fucking cheater or liar, or let alone be in a committed relationship with somebody who's already doing that shit to me and lying to me. I won't do it because I respect myself. And I will not let somebody disrespect me like that. I will not. Because I've been through that. And in the past, I've forgiven and gone back to people who did that. But in my opinion, that's just the worst kind of betrayal. You're going to get an STD. There are consequences for everything. Consequences for your actions. You go out and have a fucking drunk fest, or you go to some party, you have an affair, a little one-night stand with somebody you met at the bar or whatever, the bachelor party or bachelorette party, whatever the hell it is that people do, or you go to Las Vegas and hook up with it's fun while the fun lasts, right? It's fun because you're fucking inebriated on whatever fucking drugs you're on, but tomorrow's gonna come and you're gonna regret it. Okay, tomorrow's gonna come and the next day and the next day, and you're gonna, if you lie to somebody about what you did, guess what? There's consequences for that. Consequences for your actions, especially if you caught some fucking STD from somebody that you don't even know that you had a one night affair with, and then you're gonna pass that on to your significant other. What the fuck kind of person are you to do that? Why would, that's horrible, horrible. That kind of behavior is very disrespectful. You do that to somebody, think about consequences before you do. Think about consequences. There's too many people who have this spirit of lust, this demonic lust desire where they flesh. It's everything about the impulsivity of the here and the now. I need it now. I want it now. I don't care. This kind of behavior is brought on by demons that these people have, that they have inner demons that they have not dealt with from trauma, childhood things, whatever, neglect, that they have not talked about or worked with, and so worked on themselves. And so that follows you into every relationship that you go into. I don't care if it's going to come out. It's going to eventually come out. You need to be, if you're serious about a person, you really like that person, you need to come clean about everything, about who you are, about your past, about mistakes you've made, about everything, because why lie about that? If you really want to be with somebody and you respect them and you expect the same, you have to be very transparent with people. If you expect a relationship to actually work, which most of them don't, because nowadays everything is so superficial and everything is so based on superficiality, it seems. But if you are a person who is serious about a relationship and you like companionship, you enjoy the company of somebody, being around somebody, and whatever, you feel there's some kind of a connection, whatever the fuck it is that you feel is going on, this soul tie shit, which I don't believe. Yeah, soul ties, people do have soul ties. You need to cut that shit out from the exes, get rid of all the negative soul ties. But I'm saying this soul fucking partner shit or twin flame, that's all a bunch of bullshit. That's demonic crap. That stuff is not real. I don't think it's real. I think that God has somebody for you, and that person, you don't know where you'll meet that person. You could meet them online, you could meet them out, you don't know. But I believe that if you have faith in God, in a higher power, and you believe in these things, God and Jesus, in the light, in the positivity of that, then it will happen. That will happen. That will manifest naturally. But don't force it. Don't force it. Don't force anything. Let things happen the way they are supposed to, because God does, believe it or not, call me stupid, immature, childish for thinking these things, but from my own experience, I firmly and sincerely believe that there is a plan for everybody out there. Everybody deserves somebody. I don't care if you're in fucking prison or you're an ex-con or you're this, there's still somebody out there for you if you desire that and you want that. You have the right to still be in a relationship. There's people who are in all kinds of circumstances or all kinds of trauma or past, but that doesn't mean that you have to be excluded from that if you so desire, or maybe you want to be alone. There's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with solitude. Don't let society make you feel guilty for wanting to be alone. There's nothing wrong with that either. Some of us are just not really cut out for the whole structure of the expectations of what society, and who fucking cares what society thinks anyway, but don't let other people define who you are or try to tell you how to think or what your path is, because your path is very unique to that of somebody else's. Everybody does have a purpose and a reason. Everybody does. I mean, you might hate that, but they still have something that they're here for. If you were born into this fucked up world, then you're here for a reason until you're dead. hey, I'm not suicidal, but I don't really fucking want to be here at the same time necessarily. I see life as a burden. I don't see it as like something it's enjoyable, little bits and pieces of increments of it, but other than that, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, it's a burden. Everything's everything gets difficult. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. It's never come easy. I have to put fucking work for everything, but I don't have to prove myself. If I can prove myself to myself and I accept myself, then that's about it. That right there is enough for me. Trying to fucking people please and be somebody who I'm not just so somebody can feel comfortable in my presence. Fuck that. Fuck that. If they don't like me, then they don't have to fucking look at me. Or vice versa. If I don't like somebody, I just, I just kind of like act like they're not there. Or whatever. I mean, that's all you have to do. You don't have to go out of your way to fucking cause a scene or to make them feel uncomfortable or just ignore them. Just go about your life and let them go about their life. It's real simple. Just common courtesy. Let them. This works. I mean, look, people clash, personalities clash, cultures clash. But if you have the inner spirit of God and you have confidence in yourself, these are little trivial obstacles that you can get past easily. All you have to do is just continue your path, whatever that path is. Just continue focusing on the here and the now, on the present. Don't try to think about the future. Don't overthink about the past. Try to think about the present and live in the present. It's hard to do because we dwell on the past and we get triggered. I know because it happens to me. But if you can focus on what you're doing in the moment and try to just focus on the moment and enjoy the little things, enjoy the small things in life that are just gifts from God that are just little signs that there's somebody out there looking out for you, because there is. I have had so many strange things happen to me that give me complete evidence that I have some kind of higher force looking out for me. When I swear, I know there has to be something. There has to be. I don't know what, but there's got to be something, because I feel protected by something, by some higher energy. I feel definitely very much protected in my life. Even though I'm very disliked, I don't fit in, but I still feel that I have some divine protection on a daily basis, or else I would be dead by now, a long time. I would have been dead. I should be. Many, many times I've cheated death. Many times I ask myself every day, why am I still here? If all these things have happened to me and I've conquered them, what does it mean? Why am I here? What's the purpose of life? What am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing? And I don't think that anybody has the answer to these things. That's why I just live every day, one day at a time. I don't like to plan out for the future, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month. We don't know. Do I believe in conspiracy theories? Yes, I do. Is it a conspiracy? No, it's not. These things are real. But I guess it's just, I may as well be talking to the fucking wall. But, as far as like predicting the behavior of other people and patterns, I can do that, because today, for example, at the gym, I predicted correctly who was going to be there. It's crazy, but I had a dream last night about who I figured I would see today at the gym on Father's Day. And lo and behold, it happened. Okay, and I see the patterns, and I see that a lot of the times when I think about something or have a dream about something, it happens. And I'll give you an example. This is just fucking crazy shit, but like over there on this thing I have back there, like my shrine, or I guess you could call it my altar. to whatever the fuck you want to call it thing. I don't really know what to call it, but it's just basically something that I have in the house. And I have something, I'll go ahead and, this is, it's basically a shrine to the dead, like people, and not all of them are dead, but I have this thing from Bolivia. Okay, that right there is the Bolivian symbol. Like it's on the flag, or no, it's not on the flag, but that's like the Bolivian something. Coat of arms, or what? Not coat of arms, but country thing. So I have that whole thing is a weird thing, because I lived in Bolivia as an exchange student when I was in high school. I spent a year over there in Bolivia as an exchange student with a nonprofit, I believe, called AFS, American Field Service. And I lived in Cochabamba when I was a junior in high school. And that whole thing was weird because I did not choose Bolivia. It was not my first choice. I believe my first choice country was either Argentina or Chile. And somehow I ended up in Bolivia. I was like, okay, fine, Bolivia. Or I don't think, it may have been on my choices, but it was not my first choice. And I was like, okay, so I ended up going to Bolivia, not knowing a damn thing about that country or the culture, anything. But I did know Spanish. I already knew pretty well how to speak Spanish from living in Oaxaca. And it was my concentration. I was already determined to learn Spanish from a young age. And it just kind of came naturally. The ability to learn languages is something I think kind of comes naturally for some of us, more so than others. And so I was very adamant and focused on my Spanish, learning Spanish. And I studied, and memorized all those conjugations and verbs. And I was obsessed with like watching Spanish television and listening to Latin music, Latin rock. And eventually I learned it pretty well. I learned to speak it and understand it quite well, starting at a young age. Because I was determined. I really wanted that. And then I went to Bolivia. I lived in Bolivia. And that was a very strange experience, good and bad, both good and bad, but, it was culture shock. But after I came back from Bolivia, the thing is what, for whatever reason, when I was living in Austin, Texas, after I graduated college, when I went to NMSU after UT, I went to New Mexico State University because I did not want to fucking go to college. I did not know where I wanted to go to college. I was pressured into making a decision. I was like, I don't want to go to college. I don't know what I want to do. I want to go travel. I want to go live I did not know, but they basically talked me into going to fucking college, right? And I was like, I don't even know where I want to go, but I don't want to stay in Texas. So I started applying to Arizona State University, New Mexico, all these places all over the place, mostly. So I ended up getting accepted to various schools, and I ended up going to New Mexico State University. I stayed there for a couple years, or a year and a half. And then I had a radio show that I was doing in Spanish. I was doing really well. I was focused and having a good time and very academic. And then I transferred to UT. But I remember, this is what my point about the Bolivian thing is, for whatever reason, after I lived in Austin and I had ended up at some point when I was a student there and was filmed and signed these release forms and whatnot, my mother, Kenny Griffith, for whatever reason, she all of a sudden, she decides that she's going to go to Bolivia, right? It's like, okay, why? She wouldn't have wanted to go to fucking Bolivia, but she had a friend named Kati Ness, this German woman, who I used to know her pretty well. She was a really nice lady. Her name was Kati. Cotty got involved. Cotty was involved with some kind of something, which like an orphanage for children in Bolivia or third world countries or something. And so she was an advocate for something. And so for whatever reason, my mother ended up going to Bolivia and going to some orphanage, doing some volunteer stuff in Bolivia for a while. And so, but what's kind of weird is that my mother seems to always kind of copy me. It's like that's why I feel like it's like she acts like a sister, or somebody who's always been kind of in competition with me, or a little bit jealous of me, and seems to want to prevent me from any kind of like success or happiness. That's how it kind of feels, because and that's why I've always wondered, is she really my mother? You know, is she my stepsister? Is Mimi my mother? Is my grandmother really my mother? Or what the fuck? Is Gwen my mother? Her sister? There's just something off about that whole relationship. There's something they don't really want me to know. Of course, the fact that I don't know who my biological father is. But it's just weird, because she all of a sudden goes to Bolivia, and then what the fuck? Because then I had a friend over there named Terry Nicholson, this Australian lady who I was friends with when I lived in Bolivia. We were pretty good friends. This girl from Australia, she was from someplace in Australia. What? I forget. Somewhere in Australia. Her parents were botanists, and she's kind of a hippie kind of girl, you know, musician, played music. And then all of a sudden that girl, this was after I met that man, Walter Schutze, in Austin around 1997 or whatever. And then I signed some forms by some fucking place called Starcraft Talent Agency, and they took a fucking headshot of me. Photograph, or I sent headshots to that place of photographs, headshots that I had taken professionally, and then all of a sudden that girl Terry Nicholson goes to Austin. My mother, like, she goes to see my mother in Houston, then she goes to Austin, and this was like, why? You see, this is my point, is that I was already being exploited somehow. And it's like they were doing this from so long ago to me, doing shit behind my back, exploiting me. My life, my story was already being exploited immediately after I started signing those contracts, things. And so somebody clearly in my family, I suppose my mother, these people have profited off of me for a long fucking time, without my consent, and made money off of me. And I have been character assassinated. I have had identity theft. I've been exploited, and I have not gotten any credit for anything that I did. It's me. The other people have gotten credit for what I've done, what I've accomplished, what I did. And that's not fair to me. That's not fair, because I'm the one who created things. I'm the one who did this stuff, not other people. My ideas got taken away. My ideas that I came up with a long, long time ago. And it makes me mad, because I still don't know what my true identity is, and why this is happening to me. Why am I being lied to? Why do I get treated differently? Why do I get exploited? It's clearly financially motivated. You see, how could it not be, when everything basically in my life has kind of like been one huge setup? It feels like everything, these people that come in my life, they're all like, it's all like fake. Like fake friends, fake jobs, fake this, fake that, throughout my entire life. And that started since I was a kid. But it also especially got enhanced after I was filmed and signed these release forms back in Austin and Los Angeles. And when I met that man, Walter. So I just want to know why. I have a lot of questions, and I would like to know the truth. And I would expect that my mother, maybe on Father's Day, would tell me the truth. But back to that fucking Bolivia thing. So I had a dream the other day about who I'd see at the gym. I'm jumping around the top. And this girl who shows up there, every time I fucking put that card, that was some presidential ball that my mother was invited to. Back, it has something to do with Bolivia inauguration shit back, but my mother got involved with that stuff. So every time I put that, I'll take it down and put it back up on that altar, okay? And every time I put it back up, there's a girl who shows up at the gym over there at Walsham in 78. She'll show up at the gym and she looks like, it's like she's just there. It's like, what the fuck? I knew she'd be there today. It's like whenever I put that thing back up, she's there. Whenever it's gone, she's not. And I see the patterns. I see that she's somebody being paid. Is she from Bolivia? I doubt it. Maybe she's from South America, but I notice these patterns, and she was there today. But it's every time I put that thing back up, she'll show up. But if it's not hanging up on my mirror or whatever, she's not there. And I think that's a little bit weird, because I knew she would be there today because I put that thing up this morning. And there's another guy who I saw there today who I used to see often, and he, for whatever reason, he reminds me of whenever I first saw this guy, something about him triggered me into thinking about this man who I met, who I used to be in correspondence with, named James Armistead from Sacramento, California. Well, he was not originally from there, but he lived in Sacramento, California. I don't remember where he was originally from, but he and I became friends because I found something on the internet, his website, that he had written something, The House on Mob Jack Bay. This man named James Armistead, James Herbert Armistead. And I know he had a son named Andrew Armistead. And I know that his son Andrew was married to some woman named Tammy. And I believe they had gotten married in Hawaii or something. Because we became friends and pen pals, and we would talk on the phone a lot. He would send me letters in the mail. This was back when I lived over there at Elman Street in Houston. And we lost contact for whatever reason. I think he passed away. But this man, his last name was Armistead, and he was a veteran. He was in the, I guess, Korean War or something. And I know the last place he lived, I believe, was Pahrump, Nevada. But nonetheless, I never did a fucking address change of address when I lived at 1816 Elman Street in Houston. So he was sending me a lot of mail and letters and whatnot. And I wonder whatever happened to him. But there's a guy who shows up at the gym, and he was there today, and it's of all days Father's Day. And what's so fucking weird, and I kid you not, is that he showed up in my dream last night, this guy. And for whatever reason, I see him there, and I start thinking about James Armistead. And I don't think they're related. I don't think that's his son. I don't think so, but for whatever reason, something about that guy, young man at the gym, who's probably in his 40s, reminds me of James Armistead, or something about, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why I have that connection with that guy and James Armistead, but this man is like a taller young man. He's Caucasian, but something about him reminds me of James Armistead. And I don't know if there's a connection there. I'm just trying to figure out, why is it that every time I think about James Armistead, James Herbert Armistead, that guy shows up at the gym. And this kept happening about a year ago, or over a year and a half ago. The same thing. I'd think about James Armistead, and that guy would show up at the gym. Sometimes I'd see him with his wife or that girlfriend who looks like she's Asian or Hawaiian or something. His girlfriend, some Asian lady, or maybe Hawaiian or something. She would be there with him sometimes, and I kept thinking, is that in my mind, I'm thinking Tammy, James, or Andrew Armistead, and I know that's not reality. I know that's not who that is, but that's the way my mind works. I connect things and people with other people because I get triggered by certain people and images, and they remind me of certain people. And it's like, but I swear to God, it's like I thought about James Armistead, And he appeared in my dream last night, something about his voice and having a conversation with him. And that guy showed up at the gym today. And it's like, why is that? Why do these things happen to me? And I just had to talk about that because I can predict certain people who are going to be there in a dream or something or a thought, and they do. They show up. Maybe after months they'll show up or whatever, and all of a sudden they're there. And I don't really know how to explain this, but it happens to me all the time. I'll think about somebody, and then they appear. So that's about it for now. I just had to talk about that because it's like some things you just cannot explain. And I'm not calling it paranormal. I'm calling it kind of more like a supernatural something but I don't know these things that happen to me. It's like, are they reading my thoughts with this V2K shit? Since I am a victim of V2K, voice of skull sometimes, which is a military shit that they do to target individuals, I'm thinking, is this part of the crap? Are they reading my thoughts and manipulating my behavior or patterns of something? Because it's all like behavior modification, pattern recognition. And I can do the same thing, though. I can predict people's patterns as well in a lot of ways. And then there's other things that happen. Like a couple days ago at the post office, this girl was fucking I know she was sent there to stalk. She's a stalker or one of these people, a watch or whatever the fuck you want to call it. This girl with blonde hair. And she was there when I was returning an item to send back to a place. And she's like looking at me. I could tell that she was like, I was like, what the fuck? This is a setup. This girl is like clearly keeping tabs on me. She was a blonde girl with a baseball cap on. Okay? About my height, a Caucasian-looking woman with kind of shortish, blonde, kind of curly hair, and she had a baseball cap on. She had on some jeans and a t-shirt. And this was a couple days ago at the post office over there on Hackberry. And I was returning a wig. I was sending back a wig to the wig outlet, and it was a blonde wig that don't get me wrong, I like blonde hair. It just didn't look good on me. That I don't have that kind of shade of blonde hair anymore. And quite honestly, I don't want to. It doesn't suit my personality. I don't need to fucking explain myself, but nonetheless, the color was not what I wanted. The style was not really something I really wanted, and I sent it back. But that girl was there, this blonde girl, and kind of looking at me like what the fuck? And then the other day at the grocery store with somebody who showed up at my house. When I was about to try to leave, he shows up. And I'm like, look, I need to, I said, I need something. I've got to leave. I've got to go. Can you move your car, or what's all this about? I haven't seen you in about a fucking month. And here you are again. But nonetheless, I don't have the fucking energy to start screaming and getting mad because I know that this is all a test. It's a test. They come back to test you, these people. And I know that. I'm not going to play dumb. But I was just like, oh, what the fuck, whatever. This guy, I mean, he's not going to talk about it right now. But nonetheless, I was like, okay, you insist, you want to see me, you want to spend time with me, I've got things I need to do. Move your car. No, okay, fine. You want to fucking take me? Okay, fine. This is what I need to do. You want to be my chauffeur? Okay, fine. You have a nice air-conditioned car? Then okay, I've got some errands to run. You insist? Fine. Go ahead. Take me to the store then. Not like you're paying for anything. It's my own fucking money. I don't ask you for anything, but go ahead and take me to the store. Fine, if you insist. Since that's where I was going to go anyway before you showed up. So at the grocery store at HEB, guess who I was like, he was going to wait in the car. I'm like, no, why do you want to wait in the car? You want to spend time with me. You act like you miss me and you want to spend time with me, but you want to fucking sit in the car and fuck around on your phone. Then what's the point? You want to come see me, but you want to play on your fucking phone and sit in the car. Then why do you, what's that about? What is that about? Oh, okay, whatever. No, you're going to go in with me to the store. You want to see me? You're going to go inside the grocery store with me. I don't care if you're embarrassed. I don't care if you don't want to be seen with me. You want to spend time with me? You're going to go inside the fucking grocery store with me. That's what I said. And he did. And so we go inside the store. And guess who I see at the grocery store? That girl, that same woman from a few days ago at the post office on Hackberry who was spying on me and keeping tabs on me. I was like, what is this girl? Some fucking CIA, some undercover FBI cop? What's your fucking agency? Can I see your what alphabet, what 3-letter agency are you with? Because I know these people, they stick out. It's like they're real obvious about it. Like she was there with some man, I guess her friend or boyfriend, and she was clearly fucking, she knew I was going to be there. She couldn't have been more fucking obvious about it. She was just watching me. She had on like a Hawaiian button-down shirt the other day at the store and some Bermuda shorts, and she had that same baseball cap on, and she was just fucking watching me and keeping tabs on me. I was like, who are you? All of a sudden, I've seen you twice now in the span of like 3 days. 4 days. Who are you? And you're stalking me. What, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Because I know that you're stalking me. Why don't you just tell me who you are and what do you want? Because I know that you're following me. Who are you? What's your name? Maybe I should go up to her and say, what's your name, ma'am? Because I see that you're like, this is no coincidence. What do you want? Who are you working for? Are you this guy's boyfriend? Are you in this dude, Mr. V? Do y'all have something going on? Do you know each other? What's your name? I'm thinking, because there's something going on. It's like, and I told him, I saw that girl at the post office the other day, and he looked at her. It's like they knew each other. The way he looked at her, it's like I think they know each other. I'm not trying to sound paranoid, but there's something they're doing. There's some kind of a test that they're trying to utilize me for. And I saw it. I saw what was going on. I could feel that this girl knows him. He knows her. And then, of course, I asked him, and I said, so what happened to your girlfriend Victoria at work, by the way? Because he had an affair with that girl. I know that there was something between those two. Duh. Amongst probably other women. I said, what happened to your little friend Victoria, by the way? Oh, she quit. She quit because they weren't giving her enough time off. And then he gets all, and every time I bring up that name, he gets real, like, it's like, it's so obvious that he lied to me about that whole thing. Whatever he had with her, whatever they have going on still, or whatever, I figured that out, and he still is like in denial about it. I'm like, dude, do you see how fucking transparent you are? You can't act like I mean, what do you want? What are you two trying to, now it's like, is that, what the fuck? Because if you want to be with that, go ahead. I don't fucking care. I told him I don't want to get involved with your fucking triangulation shit or all your fucking drama from your job. I don't want to get involved with this shit and all these women I don't want to get involved. That's why I had fucking blocked you and not given you my new phone number, because I don't want to get involved with this shit. I know that you're juggling like God knows how many women at once, playing with their minds and what. I don't want to be in the middle of your fucking shit. Whatever's going on with her, your affair, did you get her pregnant? Maybe you got her pregnant. Maybe that's it. Who knows? But you know what? They still clearly have something going on. I know this. I just know it. I feel it. I know that he does. And it's like, why do you keep coming back to me? Why do you come back to me when you're having an affair with that girl, maybe even got her pregnant, or somebody else? What do you want from me? To validate you? To tell you everything's going to be okay? To go, I mean, what is it about me that he keeps coming back for, to try to destroy me? Because it's not going to work, because I have God in my heart, and I have the ability to discern and see through the fucking bullshit and the games and the manipulations. I can see through it. And nothing's going to get past me, because I see everything and feel I feel when I know when I'm being lied to. So it's not going to work with me. I'm going to notate it and talk about it, but it's not going to affect me. in the way that he wants it to, if that's what he's trying to do, it's not going to fucking work. Because I become neutral. I become indifferent to it. There comes a time when you've been so fucked over by people and so fucking used and exploited and lied to and taken advantage of, that you just become indifferent. You become immune to it. You don't react. You don't care. You just are like, oh yeah, big fucking deal. I already knew that. It's like you just become indifferent. And this is what narcissistic people can't stand, is when the person they're targeting and exploiting and manipulating and fucking with all this mind fuckery, triangulation, gang stalking shit, they when they can't get the effect or the response or the reaction that they want from you, then the game over, because it's not working. Game over for them, right? Because you don't respond in the way that they want you to, and that really fucks them, throws them off course.